I'm Kat Jacobs with Tap That, the show that explores the best bars, pubs, and holes in the wall of the 5 boroughs and beyond. Today we're exploring one of New York's finest bars, Spuyten Duyvil, a bar that has become a staple of the Brooklyn beer scene. I caught up with Joe, the owner, in the back of his place to see how he created one of the greatest bars around. So tell me about the name of your bar.
Well, Spuyten Duyvil means spitting devil, basically what it means in Flemish. Or Old Dutch. It's a neighborhood in the Bronx, and a long time ago when the Dutch did occupy New York, there was a creek that ran up through the Bronx from the Harlem River up into the Bronx, and that was called Spuyten Duyvil Creek. It's New York history and culture, but it ties into the Belgian and Flemish who occupied New York.
Critics have been singing the praises of this quaint, sophisticated bar for years. New York Magazine raved, "Best beer bar, period." BeerAdvocate.com gave it the #1 position in New York City. And New York City Good Beer Guide said, 10 out of 10 for range, quality, and effort.
You know, I live in the city, in Manhattan, and it's nice to come to a place that's sort of off the beaten path that feels more authentic than a lot of the places in the city. Not so many tourists, so it's a good time.
I love this place. I don't know why you'd go anywhere else. They have the best imports from Europe. They got some really interesting things that you don't find anywhere else, and the bartenders really know what they're talking about. They'll steer you in the right direction.
Probably the first thing you'd notice when you walk into Spuyten Duyvil is its eclectic and unusual decor.
We actually sell some of them, so they change throughout the year. You'll see different things up every now and then.
As somebody who's never been into this bar before, and
Right.
they step up and they look at the menu,
Right.
what would you recommend them to try?
What I would absolutely recommend them to do is talk to a bartender. The bartenders know all the beer here really well, so
Right.
And that's what they do. You know, every single night here is try to steer people towards the right beer.
The list of beers at Spuyten Duyvil can be intimidating to someone who is a first-time patron. So I asked Joe to give us an assortment of examples.
Should we try a couple?
Absolutely, of course. So the first beer we're going to try is Spuyten Ale. This is served in a traditional English cask, which means it was put in there without any CO2, without any pressure. It's brought up to the bar by something that's called a beer engine. The beer engine, literally, you pull this handle down and it siphons the beer from the basement, from the cellar, out of this cask, through the line, and up through a spout. So unlike a tap that you would just throw the lever down and the CO2 would push the beer through, you actually have to work to get this beer.
It definitely does taste a little bit warmer.
Right, a little bit warmer, and like I said, very easy to drink because that carbonation doesn't kind of get you that carbonic acid that you get in the back of your throat when you drink a cold, yeah, or burps. The next beer is produced by the oldest Rauch beer brewer in Germany, in the town of Bamberg, the city of Bamberg. What they do is they take the grain, the malt that they're going to make the beer with, and they smoke it over beechwood fires. And so when they produce that beer, it has a very distinctive smokiness to it. So you get that caramelized kind of smokiness in the nose, right? The next beer, it's called Jeverhapke. It's a Belgian ale. It's a strong Belgian ale, and it's also a sour Belgian ale. This beer is kind of strange on a few different levels. First of all, it's about 13.5% alcohol. It was also brewed with coffee, so you get that real roasty coffee flavor to it.
How's the price range from the lighter to the dark to the more rare to the...
Well, the least expensive thing here would be the cask ale. The next beer coming up in price probably would be this Rauch beer from Germany, which is probably about $8, I believe, right now. And then the Belgian beer, the Jeverhapke, I think is about 9 or 10. The Mikkeller is very expensive. There's very little of it made. This is about $18 a bottle.
I have learned so much about all your different beers, and I'm going to have to finish these up in the next couple minutes.
Nice.
Well, we've certainly enjoyed ourselves today. This is Kat Jacobs wishing you all good times and good drinking from Spuyten Duyvil and encouraging you to tap that. We sure did.